Yesterday was the biggest day so far in the plan of Exit the UK. Today is the 31st of July and it's just after 10:15 in the morning, and I'm off to do my regular parcel run to drop some stuff off at the in-post lockers and also at the library for the Every packages. Got to get that done this morning, but let's talk about yesterday. So why was it a big day? Well, yesterday was Yvonne's last day in her job or the office. Today is technically her last day. But she no longer has a laptop. She doesn't really have access to any system, so it's a bit of a write-off of a day. But yesterday she travelled to her office and dropped the laptop off. Spent a bit of time with some people doing some handover-y stuff, and then went for a bit of a team lunch. Now, Yvonne's technically taken a year's sabbatical to give us a bit of breathing room, that if things don't work out the way we hope, then at least maybe there's a bit of security of a job that she's been in for over 10 years. That's the strategy behind what we've done. But quietly, don't tell anybody. The main goal is, hopefully, we just never come back. Yeah, you just sit there, love, and watch the traffic lights change to red. They've actually changed again. This is how long this car in front's been sitting there. Sitting on her phone. Of course. Of course. Anyway, back to Yvonne. So, handed back the laptop, did all that stuff, went for a lunch. A couple of people actually leaving, so it was a bit of a joint effort. And she came home in pretty mixed feelings, you know, just that kind of, I'm out of a job and what does that all feel like? All the same feelings that I probably went through after exiting my job earlier in the year, that kind of feeling a bit discombobulated. Oh, great word. So she's feeling a bit discombobulated today, and yesterday. Her manager, she didn't even hear from her manager yesterday. That's how companies work these days. So the person that was responsible for helping sign this process off for her, she didn't even hear from him. No text message, no call, no email, no meeting, nothing. So she's left with zero comms from her management team. Look, I've been a manager, I manage people. I've always prided myself on really building relationships with people that work with you, being grateful for work that they put in, being respectful of them as a member of staff, their input. And it just blows my mind when I see other people who manage staff who don't even pick up a call when somebody who's been in the business for 10 years is heading out, granted, on a sabbatical, but not even to say, thanks Yvonne, all the best, nothing. And the manager above that manager, the same. So maybe they're just not thinking about it, maybe they haven't put two and two together, maybe they haven't joined the dots, or maybe, just wild to me that. So yesterday was Yvonne's last day in the job. Laptop gone back, and now it's full steam ahead with plans at the house. And I'll say this, I will be grateful of the help now that she's her hands are free of work. I've totally respected that she's been super busy with her job, so I've just got on with things myself, but I definitely could use some helping hands to just get on with some of the last things now. So that was yesterday. And what else happened yesterday? Well, I booked our travel arrangements out of the country. So people have been asking where you're going, and we'll cover that in time. But we've booked the first two stops, the first two locations that we plan to travel to and spend some time, because we're not picking just one location, moving somewhere and that's it. Our plan is to explore a little and hop around, see what we like and see how that goes for us, just experiencing new locations. So the first two destinations are booked. I've finally pulled the trigger on booking the flights. I've really struggled with getting that across the line because I'm still dealing with this kidney stone and medical issues, and I'd really hoped that that might have materialised into an actual hospital appointment, but I've now been waiting for 7 months and I've kind of just given up hope on it now. I've given up that I'll just have these medical conditions and that I'll need to travel with them, and if I need to seek help I will. But I'll tell you this, I would die here waiting on the NHS to do anything for you. So I'm just going to, and also people mentioned to me, why don't you just go private? In the destinations that we're travelling to, I will, because they are super cheap to get medical treatment and probably more professional than the treatment I'm likely to get here, where I'm just getting bounced around from one department to the next with nobody taking accountability. So thanks for the feedback, those that have reached out and messaged me about that. Right, first drop off, and then I'll tell you about what else was happening in the last day, other milestones that I've reached. Right, okay, let's park up here. Right, wait there. I will be right back. Okay, are you gonna face track? No, because you need reset first. Why is the radio on? Hello, face tracking. Hello, face tracking. Hello, face tracking. Come on, face tracking. Yeah, there you go. Right, that's good. Do you know, I love going to that inbox thing to ship parcels because you just don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to deal with. When I go to the library here, the people here just look like they've so had enough of taking deliveries from people. You can just see it in their eyes. They're like, can you just come in for a book? And nobody goes in for books. Everybody's literally just taking parcels in there, and the staff hate it. And I hate going in here, but it's the closest. So suck it up, John. Let's go and see what wonders the staff at the library have to share with you today. So flights are booked. Accommodation is booked. We've got a nice little place to stay. That's all awesome. And so now it's full steam ahead. And just to confirm, if you're interested, the 17th of September is the flight out of here. And I've got to say, it just won't at this point come quick enough for me, because I'm just looking at what's going on and I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of every day listening to the government spout nonsense. Just absolute every day. It's like, you know, there is rumours of a agenda plan, you know, the whole demoralisation, take away your identity. Well, if that was the plan, for me, it's worked. Because I'm just so over the way this country's being ran. Somebody said to me recently in a post, all right, we get it, you hate the country. Let me just categorically state right now, no, I don't. I love being Scottish. I loved living in Scotland. I moved away for job opportunities to try and better my life and my family's life. And I moved to England for that. And I've loved living in England. I've lived in Northampton for 13 years, but it's not the same town even when I moved here. It is incredibly changed over the last years. And if I go to the town centre, which I rarely do because it's just not pleasant, when I'm out in Northampton, I never hear an English accent. Yes, I'm Scottish, but my finely tuned ear pays attention to what I hear when I'm out and about and who I speak to, and I so rarely hear an English accent. I go for a walk around these canals and I speak to a few people. See, when I go slightly further out than that, round a couple of this little neighbourhood here, you never hear an English voice. And so I'm going to leave the country, and I'm totally used to not hearing English voices or English accent or Scottish accent now, so it won't be any different when I'm out of the country. But in terms of just the government, I'm so tired of how they're running things. They are so incredibly disconnected from reality. I don't know if you've saw, but you know, this new policies just came in place, this online policy, and in the last couple of days, you now have to give your passport information to access parts of Spotify, and now overnight YouTube YouTube has become the same. So YouTube has employed an AI bot that will look at your comments and the pages that you're viewing and determine whether you're over or under 18 years of age. And without providing your ID, you won't be able to access what they deem as adult content on the platform. And the government, you know, what they're trying to do right now is say, oh, but think of the children. Like, the simple answer to that is, if it mattered about the children, why did you vote against a grooming gang scandal, an inquiry? Why did you vote against that? Because that was about the kids, and the government didn't care about the kids then, but now all of a sudden that, you know, we can silence speech online. I mean, it's came out overnight. I saw a post from a guy called Jim Jordan, who's a Republican. He was running to be the House Speaker and didn't get that position. But I saw him overnight posting on his X page an investigation into the UK government over this censorship talk, and he was highlighting that the Labour Party, and probably the Conservatives before who tabled this policy, were trying to silence dissent online. That's what it was being used for. Of course it is. Of course it is. They cannot have anybody push back, and the key parts that they're focusing in on is immigration and migrants. So if you talk about that online, it's hidden. Now, I have an X page. I've had it for decades. Well, like, I don't know, 15 years or something. And so they've deemed, obviously, I'm old enough now, so my page is still unfiltered. But Yvonne's only had an account for a couple of years, and now she can't see anything that I see. So she's been censored online unless she provides her ID. Now, here's a little fun tale for you. In America, there is a web app platform called T, and it's where women who have dated men can share information about their dating history with that man. So it's basically a kind of a platform for women to spill the secrets and create red flags or green flags against people that they've dated. Now, that platform has been hacked in the last couple of days, and hundreds of thousands of women's driving licenses and information and their images and every post that they've ever put on that platform has been leaked out. So tell me, do you feel comfortable at giving your driving license, your passport information, your biometrics to these companies who continually go through leak after leak after leak? And suddenly you're just supposed to provide that info and be like, oh, well, that'll be fine, right? That'll be okay. So no wonder people are nervous, but the government just keep doubling down. I mean, the whole comment in the last couple of days by Labour about Farage is wild, about his association now with Jimmy Savile, because that he's defending the right to repeal this new policy. The mental gymnastics to get to where Labour are trying to get this to is incredible. And so I'm done with all of this. I'm so over it. I need a break. I need away from all of this, and just to have time to consider what the UK is like and whether I ever want to be part of it again. That's the stage that I'm at right now, whilst I arrive at the library to drop these packages off. So let's go do this. Pause. Right, that's that task done. I also didn't realise that in the library there is also a part of the parish council office. They've got a little space there set out in the library. And just as I walked in, there are 6 international faces all waiting to inquire about housing here for themselves in Northampton. So I watched the news yesterday as they covered that we had 900 people arrive on boats yesterday. 900. And that also came on the same day that data was released that was it last year into this year, we got that right, has been a record high in the 70 years of keeping data of immigration into the country. Was a record high, or the second highest ever. 25,000 people into the country on the boats, but 770,000 into the country in the last year. So they always talk about, oh, it's a city the size of a city the size of Liverpool. But what we don't understand from that is that's a city the size of Liverpool entirely of foreign people coming to the country, and with no improvements to infrastructure. You know, I've been waiting 7 months now for a doctor's appointment. Why could it be that I just can't get a doctor's appointment? Why would it be? Because the government are telling us that they've done all this work to improve the number of doctors. Oh, that's right, the doctors are on strike, aren't they? Of course. But yeah, so 770,000 people have arrived in the last year. I think that's the numbers. Close enough, right? We're only chatting. It's just you and me chatting. I'm not a stats guy. Well, I'm a bit of a stats guy, but, you know, we're just shooting the breeze. So, size of Liverpool has arrived in the last year. What I ask myself on this is, right, just a straight up question between you and I in this car, and you can tell me in the comments what your actual thought is. What is the end game? What do you think? What if you were in the Labour Party or you were a politician and you were sitting watching 900 men, let's not kid ourselves, it's men, 900 men arrived yesterday on boats, and that takes the total over 25,000, which beats last year, and we're only in July, so the numbers are going to be astronomical. Let's say 30,000, 40,000 by the end of the year. And there was 770,000 came last year. At what point do you think, yeah, this might just be unsustainable and we might have to have a plan? At what stage do you get to that point? Do you think they've reached it and they just don't tell you? Do you think they've no idea what to do because they recognise the second they change policies that probably trouble will erupt? It's already happening across many major towns, right? So what is the end game? What would be the end game? Just keep flooding, and then at some stage it's over for British people in this country because you're significantly outnumbered. I saw a video from Charlie Veitch yesterday where he was in Preston outside a hotel which had something like 700 rooms, all totally filled with men in that area. Fastly, that's an army.
For your humble narrator, Charlie Veitch, to show you the incredible money that the British government is spending in creating barracks. And they are barracks, fortified barracks for all the almost, I'd say, 150,000 illegal migrants. That's bigger than the British Army.
And most of our towns and cities will have that. Outnumbering the British Army, outnumbering the police, and just sitting, waiting. And the question that I ask myself is, waiting for what? Because it doesn't seem like the government take this seriously in the slightest. Instead, what they would rather do is, the people seem to really be starting to ask a lot of questions here. What should we do? Should we try and tackle the problem? Nah, fuck that. Try and shut down X. Right, okay, well, that seems quite hard because Elon's causing a lot of pushback on all of this and the Americans are starting to notice. Ban VPNs. That way they can't connect to the platforms to hear the truth about what's going on. That will keep them quiet for a bit longer. Because it's just what it seems. And do you know what? At 47 years of age, I've just had enough. I have had enough. And instead of me spending the next 3, 5, 10 years stressing about what's going to happen here, I'm going to head for the door. And I'm going to take what little savings that I've got, and I'm going to go and enjoy life somewhere else. And there will be no perfect solution. There will be no perfect place. I've heard all of this. But rather me sit around and watch the continual destruction being championed and paid for by us, the tax slaves.
If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
On behalf of a government that hates you, I'm not going to do it. So you can say what you like in the comments. I've heard it all before, and I've read it all on everybody else's channels that's doing the same. But for me and my wife, I want a life that doesn't involve being absolutely put to the grind by a government that also hates me at the same time. That's my TED Talk for today. So, little bit of back to just reminding myself of the goal here. Yvonne finished her job yesterday. Flights are booked, accommodation is booked. The first 2 destinations are picked. And we're out here on the 17th of September. And to everybody who's watched this channel and supported me so far, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you just giving me an ear to talk to and following along. Have a great day, everyone.